morning. Good morning from Melbourne, Australia. Good evening to friends in North America. And hello to anyone watching on replay. My name is Nancy Hepker, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Melbourne, Australia. And today I'm going to make a couple of cards for you. Same layout, different color scheme, using the Thoughtful Journey Designer Series paper and the Everyday Arches dies. Thoughtful Journey, I'm getting down to the end of it here, but it's this wonderful, I guess, watercolored, scenic type paper. We've had a number of these over the last couple of years. There's another version, I think, in the current catalog, perhaps. Anyway, this one is not yet retired. And yeah, I saw a similar thing on Facebook and decided I wanted to try it. Let's start with this color scheme, because I need your help. This is the piece of Designer Series paper I'm going to use. And this is my card base. And then I'm trying to figure out which color to layer on there. Cajun Craze is the base. This is Calypso Coral. And this is Peach Pie. I know which one I'm leaning towards, but you tell me, darker or lighter. And in the meantime, I'm going to cut a couple of things with my cut and emboss machine. Bring that in. And I'm going to start with the smaller of my two Everyday Arches. This is a scrap piece from something else, and I think it is just going to fit. Let's give that a try. Darker, says Paula. So there goes that one. Yep. Did just barely make it. There we go. And this is the next size up. Okay. Now, while I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and do the cutting for the second one. You can see I'm using that piece of Designer Series paper. And again, I believe it is just going to fit. Got a nice sunny day here today. Yesterday was, well, we had a mix of sun and clouds and showers. Mostly not raining. There we go. And the bigger one, that's Mossy Meadow. But I was happy it was not raining when I walked Noah around the corner to the vet for his final check. A couple weeks ago, we noticed he was shaking his head a lot and rubbing at his ear. And, yep, he had an ear infection. So, I can't remember if I told you guys this or not, but they offered me two choices. I said, it's basically the same price, but we can put in a dose of medicine in his ear today, and you can bring him back in a week to do a second dose and bring him back the following week after that for an ear check. Or you can buy the bottle of solution and dose him yourself every day for the next 2 weeks. Let me think about that. Yeah, you do it. You're right around the corner from me. I'm happy to bring him back in the second time. So that's good. But he got a clean bill of health yesterday. Very happy. And I didn't have to chase him around with a syringe full of sticky medicine for him to shake out all over the house. Oh, I'm glad you had cooler temps, Paula. You and I, we're alike with that. No, thank you. On the hot and sticky. Well, Paula weighed in on the darker, and I agree. So that's what we're going to do. And, sorry, I'm going to bring this back in again. Because what we're going to do is emboss it with the mini corrugated 3D embossing folder. And what I have found, I think I've tried to tell you guys this before, is because of the corrugations, it eats up a couple of millimeters of length. So if you cut it your standard size, it'll look a little bit short. So just cut it, 1/8 of an inch or 2 millimeters longer than you normally would. And all of that length that gets eaten up by that works out. So I'm going to do the same thing for the second piece. We're using Old Olive for the second card to go with the Mossy Meadow. That one I didn't have to ask you about. I'm just taking a moment to get it as straight as I can since this is such a strong line. Yeah, Noah's actually gotten pretty good about his ears being messed with for meds, but I know that, it being an everyday thing is just going to be annoying as heck. That completely out of the way. Okay, let's see what we've got here. So there is my Calypso Coral base and my everyday arched pieces. And I'm bringing in some of this Natural Tones linen thread, or Natural Tones thread, to use on there. What I do is I just tape it down That's just a super easy way to do it. And let's get this glued down. Now, I wouldn't use this much glue if it were a flat piece of cardstock, but because it's got all of that surface area that's not making contact, I'm putting more glue. Come on. Yeah. Pretty rustic, but hopefully still kind of, well, rustic isn't necessarily bad, so never mind what I was going to say. And let's find a glue dot. Ah, right there. And let's bring in, we do birthday or thank you on this one. We'll do birthday on this one. And again, some Cajun Craze ink. That needs re-inking. So you may notice sometimes that your red tones, red and purples, there's something about the inks that the pad gets a little funky looking texture-wise. Doesn't seem to affect the quality of the stamping. It just looks not quite as smooth, the pad itself. You know, if you start having, Stampin' Up! Classifies the pads as a consumable product. So, you know, if you've had it several years and you find the foam is starting to disintegrate or anything, they don't tend to cover those. You know, they don't tend to replace them. So I don't tend to worry about how my pads look unless it does start shedding off or affecting the stamping itself. Okay, let's get that cleaned off. And let's try once again stamping. So I hope when you trim down your basic white, very vanilla, you're keeping these little strips that are from your trim, that's better. Because they're perfect for little sentiments like this. So here's a trick somebody taught me for getting the same angle on each side. I'm just going to line up this part that I cut off where I want it. Get it about the same distance from the Y as this one is from the H. And then you just line up your snips right on that same angle and give it a cut. And I am going to go ahead and do dimensionals. Hi, Sarah. Enjoy your time with your mom. Oh, it's a little wet still. There we go. There's one. And let's do the second one. So this one, we're just going to do basically the same thing, different colors. And on this one, I went back in my stash and I found this wild wheat jute twine. So I think that's what I'm going to use. And it really wants to be springy, which is fine. We'll do, again, the same thing. Makes it much easier than trying to wrap it around and tie it and get it all in the right place. It's my little cheat. And this one is thicker, so I'm not going to go around twice. And I realize the other one, you can't even really see it, but I know it's there. I think the one I saw was on letter cardstock, which is wider. And that's why it showed up more better. So, glue that one on. And then dimensionals on this one. And let's make a bow. You can see I'm just, don't really want to unravel the twine, but I do want it to be a little less curly so it's easier to handle. Again, I don't want a huge bow. You've got the big knots. It's easier to just press the knot down on the glue dot and pick it up together. Add it on there. And let's do this one in thank you. My plan is that we're taking a trip, Glenn and I, in about a month to Denmark. We've been about to buy our plane tickets for weeks and weeks and weeks. We got to figure out, there's one possible add-on at the end, and we're waiting to hear on that. So, but for this trip, I'm thinking it would be nice to have thank you cards to hand out to people who are really helpful. I did that. I've done that on a number of trips, but I did that particularly nice effect on my trip to the US last year. Like flight attendants, hotel clerks who are particularly helpful. And you can either write a note in them, or you can just give them the card as a gift. I usually just pack them up in a little plastic bag with an envelope and just give them to them. Here we go. And I don't think I'm going to add any other embellishments to them. I like them as is. I think they'd be, even with the bows, I think they're good for males or females or anybody. And I like them just like that. Hope you like them. These are going to be on my next blog post, which you can find at nancysniftynotes.com. If you have any questions, if you would like for me to be your Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Australia, or if you need help finding a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator anywhere in any of our other markets, get in touch with me, Nancy at nancysniftynotes.com. I can help link you up with one of my friends in another country, or I am very happy to help you out here in Australia. Those are my cards. I will be back same time, same place next week, and I hope you have a great week. Thanks for joining me. Bye-bye.